What is up, everyone? Welcome back to GrayDays TV, and this video is going to be slightly different than my regular videos because for the next couple of Fridays up until Halloween, I want to do Halloween specific videos. So this is going to be the first entry in this sort of Halloween series of crime videos. So today I'm going to be talking about the death of Leslie Mazzara and Adriane Insogna. On a late Halloween night in 2004, roommates Leslie, Lauren, and Adriane decided to call it a night after handing out candy to trick-or-treaters. Not long after 11 p.m., the three 26-year-old women who shared a house on Dorset Street in Napa Valley, California, went to bed. And when the house was dark and quiet, the man found his way into the house through an unlocked first-floor kitchen window. And moments later, Lauren, who had the only room on the first floor, was awoken by strange noises. So she crept out of her room quietly and tried to figure out what exactly those noises were. Then came what she described as a blood-curdling, terrified scream, along with broken glass. And suddenly there were loud footsteps coming towards her down the stairs. And upon hearing those footsteps, Lauren ran from the house through the back door and hid in the backyard. And that was where she stayed hidden until she felt it was safe enough to come back into the house. And when she entered the house, she immediately ran upstairs to her friend's room. And that is where she found Leslie face down in a pool of her own blood in the doorway of her bedroom. Lauren also found Adriane crouched behind Leslie's bed, with multiple stab wounds bleeding profusely. Fearing for her friends' lives, Lauren ran to the landline to dial 911, but found that the line was disconnected. So she grabbed her cell phone and left the house, fearing that the intruder would come back and try to hurt her as well. So when police and emergency services arrived on scene, Leslie was officially pronounced dead, but Adriane was still clinging to life. And although paramedics tried everything they could to stabilize Adriane, she died before they could reach the hospital. And an autopsy concluded that both women died of multiple stab wounds. Now, Lauren told police what she heard, but because she was hiding the entire time, she wasn't able to give police a description of the man who broke into their house. So no immediate arrest was made. And these murders completely shocked the residents of that community. The killings affected everyone. It was like a Halloween movie come true. So Leslie Mazzara was a South Carolina native and a former beauty queen. And she only moved to Napa Valley earlier that year to be closer to her mother. She also worked in a winery in nearby Rutherford and was described by friends and family as having a bubbly personality and someone who could elevate the mood of everyone around her. And it was during that summer of 2004 that Leslie moved in with Adriane and Lauren because they needed a third roommate. Adriane was an avid volleyball player and fiercely competitive. She was a civil engineer and got a job with the Napa Sanitation District after graduation. And it was at this job that she met a woman named Lily Prudhomme. The two women became close friends, and Lily and her fiance Eric Copel spent a lot of time at Adriane's house. So after the murders, police and investigators combed through the crime scene, and for the next 11 months they interviewed over 1,300 people and collected 218 DNA samples determined to solve this crime. And on September 22nd of 2005, police released a statement saying they had matched DNA to cigarette butts found outside the house. And they were even able to determine the brand of cigarettes. The brand being Camel Turkish Gold, which apparently is pretty rare. And the police hoped that by releasing this information that someone would be able to sort of link a person they knew to that particular brand of cigarettes, and hopefully the identification of that person would lead to an arrest. And only days later, on September 27th, Eric Copel, the now husband of Adriane's friend Lily Prudhomme, turned himself in for the murder of Adriane and Leslie. And this actually happened because his favorite brand of cigarettes was actually Camel Turkish Gold. And because of this, he felt that arrest was imminent, so he confessed to his family and his fiance. And his family and his fiance actually escorted him to the police so that he would confess to the murder. Now, unfortunately, even with the confession, no motive was ever given to why he committed these crimes. And Eric Copel actually said he couldn't really remember what happened. And what made these crimes so strange is the fact that Eric never really met Leslie. So there wasn't a clear motive that anyone could think of on why he would kill her. But some theorized that the only reason he killed Leslie was because her room was the first one he entered, and he confused her for Adriane. Others theorized that his intentions were to kill all three roommates, but during the actual crime, he got sort of scared and just ran off. But police believe that the only reason Adriane died that night was because she came to the aid of her roommate. And if it wasn't for Adriane coming to try and help Leslie, the police actually would have not been able to find DNA of Eric's to compare to the cigarette butts outside. Because when Eric attacked Adriane, she actually fought back and scratched him, and that is why his blood was left at the scene of the crime. Now in court, Eric expressed his regret for committing the crime, saying, "I'm a broken man. I cannot fathom an explanation for my sinful deeds. The terrible agony inflicted upon a great number of people, words evade me." And I also want to point out that 2 weeks after the murder, Lily Prudhomme actually organized a candlelight vigil, and Eric attended that vigil. And after Eric's confession, he was officially charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, and he actually went on to plead guilty for going a trial. And after a discussion with the victims' families, Copel's attorney, and the prosecution, an agreement was reached that Eric would spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole, foregoing the death penalty. He also waived his right to appeal and waived his right to talk about the case to anyone outside of a clergy, meaning that everyone outside of the clergy would never hear a concrete motive for why Eric committed these crimes. And even if he didn't waive his right to talk about the case, I don't think we'd ever really get a concrete motive on why he did this. And unfortunately, that's life in a sense. There's so many senseless murders and crimes that go on that there's no real justification for why this person did this thing. He or she just did it because that's what they felt like doing in that moment, which is kind of sad. I mean, we're so used to movies and stories that give us a concrete ending. So in real life, when something like that doesn't happen, it's kind of hard to understand. But unfortunately, there's a lot about life that's hard to understand, so that's just one other part of it. And at Eric's sentencing, Leslie's mother, Kathy Harrington, told Copel, "For the rest of your life, you and your family will experience what both your victims and loved ones have felt: terror, desperation, hopelessness, violence. I wish I could tell you that I forgive you. At this time, I cannot. And finally, I pray that never again will any mother's child grow up to be a murderer." Unfortunately, we all know that that will never happen, and people will grow up to be murderers, and we're not really sure why things like this happen. Some scientists have tried their entire lives to figure out why someone will commit a crime like that and others won't. But I think that's a question that we will never have an answer to. But that is the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. And like I said, for the next couple of Fridays and the Thursday of Halloween, I'm going to be doing videos related to crimes that took place on Halloween. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that and like this sort of idea for October that I have. But make sure to leave comments and let me know what you guys think about this and what you guys think about this case in general. But until then, I hope you guys continue to have a great day, great week, great month, great year, and I will catch you next video.